Hi guys. So we are now, well, my son, it's Friday. My son's been home all week from school. I think he could have gone today, but if you listen to yesterday's video, basically he was supposed to still be here, but he ended up asking to go to his dad's. And so he went to his dad's and surprisingly stayed overnight. So I got to go to class last night. Yay! So I was glad that I didn't have to miss 2 nights this week. My daughter is home sick again today, so that's 2 days of school that she has missed and 4 days that my son has missed because on Monday was actually family day, so it was a holiday. So, it might be kind of shock to his system when he goes back on Monday. So I've kind of been puttering around again, trying to stay away from the germs. But we actually ended up, a bunch of my neighbors and I were standing outside in the cul-de-sac this morning. We just kind of all seemed to go outside at the same time. And most of them are on my Facebook and they're like, how are the kids doing and all this, and I'm like, you know what, I'm getting so much done, so many of those like little projects around the house that you just never get time to do. And they're like, oh well, I would have thought that you could, you couldn't do that with both of them home. Oh wait, the kids are both basically home and resting, so they're not in the way, so you can do that stuff. So one of the things that I did this morning was actually sort through all of my coupons, which doesn't necessarily sound like a huge task, but it's just one of those things that you just never get done. And when I really haven't used my coupons in 6 months, there was a bunch to go through, and so I filmed the kind of end result. So I'll insert that at the end of this video. I also started in on another project that I have been, again, meaning to do. And so, but that'll be a separate video in and of itself. But I needed to sort through kind of a drawer container, like, those plastic drawers where you've got like 5 of them and they, I don't know, come up to waist height or something like that. Anyway, I've been meaning to sort through that because honestly, I haven't opened a drawer in that since we moved into this house. This is kind of like what I'm doing right now is if I haven't touched it since we moved into this house, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. So I purged through that, recycled a bunch of stuff, threw away some stuff, stuff that I found some actually sentimental items in there. So I will need to sort through those at another time, not when the kids are home, so I can kind of like go through the emotions. So that's actually, I'm hoping it'll be my yarn. Well, definitely it'll be my yarn drawer because I don't like having those in box or like the canvas bins because it still gets dusty on the top. So I thought, might as well put it in there. So I'm hoping to have that, to be able to put that in there, like the yarn in that bin as well. And if there's still space, then I might even be able to get some fabric in there. So we'll see. Anyways, I've kind of been puttering all day. So I think now I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to have a chai and probably some cuddles with the kids on the couch. Talk to you guys later. Bye. I did one of those projects that's kind of been nagging at me this morning, and that is I guess, an avid couponer and everything, but then my coupon binder just got so out of hand in that there were just so many in there that I knew had expired, and I just didn't want to go through it. But with the kids sick today and they kind of like need me close by, but they don't need me, if that makes sense, I just grabbed my paper recycling bin here and I sorted through my drawer that has these bins in it to put the coupon inserts that I get in the flyers every week into as I get them if I don't have time to cut it. And these are actually in a bin in a drawer thing in the living room. And I spent an hour or so-ish, sorting through all of these ones to see which ones had expired. And that's all of these. So I just sat on the couch and I sorted through everything. I cut ones up. And just, you know, I brought this to me on the couch, and so now I can actually take this and put it in the blue bin that's outside. These are now empty. And then randomly, you know, I found in those bins there, my missing bookmark that I bought a while ago, that I've, you know, wanted to use, but I couldn't find it. So I've now found it. And then just a random key. I don't know where this is for. I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have to randomly start using the key. So those were kind of cool to find. But then I also, up until now, my coupon binder I've had separated into like food, which that one was all messed up, so I had to rip it out and blah, blah, blah. Health and beauty, household, and then kind of this one used to be labeled as kids when the kids were younger with like diaper coupons and stuff. But then it just kind of became miscellaneous of whatever didn't go into there. But my neighbor, who is a very, very avid couponer, she actually organizes her binder in a different way that I thought I might try now, and that is by expiry date. So, and I think this might actually work fairly well for me because, frankly, I can't see the expiry dates on these without my glasses on, because I need glasses to read, and they're so small on most of the coupons. So I figured out which coupons I actually have that have not expired and now have them separated by expiry date. So these 4 coupons are ones that I will use and expire at the end of this month. And then my next sheet is by the end of March. And I've offered the coupons that I know I won't use to my neighbor. And then if she doesn't use them, we are both on some Facebook coupon groups as well, so I can offer those to the groups. But this just seems less daunting now. I'm hoping it'll work. I hope it'll just kind of keep me on track. I'm not a huge couponer, but, you know, I still like to save where I can. And I might actually be able to get rid of a bunch of these sheets as well. But I'm going to keep them around for a couple months. Well, they're contained in the binder, right? But I'm going to keep them around for a couple months, see if this keeps working for me. And yeah, I'm quite pleased. It was just kind of one of those tasks that I was dreading doing. And honestly, this number of coupons and stuff that have expired, it almost hurts. But I feel really good having done it, and hopefully I won't need to really do this again where all of these all now need to be recycled. So thank goodness for recycling, right guys? We're in my son's room right now. This is actually artwork that he did a couple years ago now. We did like splash painting and fingerprints. Like, look at how little that fingerprint is. Oh my goodness. Out on the sidewalk. It was a couple years ago now, and I just thought this was so cute, and it matched the paint that he chose for his room and everything, so I framed it. And it's been up there ever since. I cannot remember though now if I actually put the year that we did it on the back. I'll have to look back through photos to see, because I know I took lots of photos when we did it. And they were so little back then. But I just wanted to show that I'm changing his bedding, because he's been sick, right? So I've washed it and all this, but I'm changing his bedding. I'm going to use his blue sheets this time. But what I do in the winter especially is I actually just put on a blanket underneath the bedding, so it kind of warms it up a little bit more when he's sleeping. And he seems to absolutely love it. So this is kind of the underneath for his bed now. And now I'm going to take a few minutes and make his bed. I'm sure you've also seen this on Pinterest or somewhere online, but I do the kind of fold everything into the pillowcase thing in my my linen closet, and it works so well, right? Like there's his entire bedding for me to use right now, and I know that it's all clean. So if you don't do it, I would strongly suggest that you do. It just finds it's so much easier, especially when you need to change the bedding in the middle of the night. And you know what that means. So anyway, just a little tip for the day. Okay guys, there's my son's bed all made up. Loves Spider-Man and Elmo, but I don't have any Elmo bedding for him. So there's his Spider-Man duvet there. And this is actually his weighted blanket. So I don't know if you can see it there, but each of these sections is actually filled with what's called poly pellets. So can you hear that? I don't know. I'm not sure how well that's going to come up on the video, but that blanket is, you know, it's not quite as long as his bed, but it's a good size. But anyway, it covers him, and it's 11 pounds. Kids with autism have a really rough time sleeping, and the weighted blanket really helps them. It's called compression therapy. So once we started with the weighted blankets with him about 4 years ago, I think it was, it's been much easier for him to sleep through the night. So that, and of course melatonin before he goes to bed. So there is my newly washed, well, not my bed, but his newly washed bedding for when he gets into bed tonight, so that hopefully he will have kicked this sickness, this cold that has been hanging around and kept him home from school all week. So there we go. There's his Spider-Man bed.